Welcome to the Soulful Valley podcast, the sanctuary for soul-led entrepreneurs, creatives, and changemakers ready to rise. I'm your host, Katie Carey, best-selling author, book collaboration mentor, publisher, and energy alchemist, here to help you tune into your truth, amplify your voice, and align with the frequency of miracles. Each week, we dive into soulful conversations, transformational journeys, and the energies that shape our lives and businesses. It's time to evolve on purpose, because the world needs your light, your words, your legacy. Let's begin. Are you ready to share your soul's truth with the world? We're calling in writers, mystics, and visionaries for 2 transformational book collaborations. Soulful Poems Volume 4 for the poetic voices of this new era, and Evolving on Purpose, Angels, Spirit Guides, and the Frequency of Miracles for those guided by the unseen. Your words have the power to heal, uplift, and ripple across the world. And if you've ever dreamed of being part of something bigger, we invite you to watch the trailers for our international award-winning movie and join our Zero Limits community on Facebook, where we're celebrating global premieres, backstage magic, and preparing for the big launch on Amazon Prime and Apple TV later this year. Check the show notes now to join the movement. Your miracle moment is waiting.
You gotta love yourself with all your heart. If you don't already, it's time to start. 'Cause nothing's gonna work out until you do.
Solveig is the best-selling author of the book You Too Can Be Clairvoyant, and destined to accompany women on their way to their inner calling. She is an expert in reading the morphogenetic field and founder of the Conscious Reading Methodological Training and Academy for Field Reading Practitioners. In the work with her clients, she is passionate about reading innate potentials and gifts and able to see their mission in the grand picture of universal evolution. Hello and welcome to the Soulful Valley podcast, Solveig Berg.
Hello, Katie. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so honored. So glad to be here.
You're so welcome. Listeners, you'll have heard Solveig on the podcast before because she was an author in our book collaboration Entangled No More, and she launched her solo book with me, You Too Can Be Clairvoyant. So there are previous interviews on this show if you want to go back and find them after you've listened to this one. But Solveig, it's wonderful to have you back.
Thank you so much. Nice.
And the reason you're back particularly for this series is because you're also featured in the movie Zero Limits. So can I ask, what was it like for you to be featured in that movie?
Oh, it was a real dream come true. And you played a crucial role in this because you got my attention on the movie. And it was just a few weeks before I told my coach, my personal vision is to be in a documentary like The Secret alongside Dr. Joe Vitale. And I can already imagine it. I can see me on the screen. I can see myself on the screen as an expert, and it has a title like Limitless. This was what I was saying just a few weeks before, and then I saw your post on Facebook. I contacted you and asked you, what is this movie about? What is it? And you told me it's Zero Limits with Joe Vitale, and it's, oh God, that's my sign. So, and just to be in a movie like that it was possible for me to be in a movie like that was just a dream come true in itself.
Beautiful, thank you. And I wasn't sharing it at that point for other people to join. I was actually sharing it in a business group that we're both in called Divine Planning Abundant Profits, because I was so excited because I'd just applied for the movie. So I shared that I applied. And then I think it was a couple of weeks later when you popped in and asked me about it. But what you might not realise is that you were then the reason that I actually landed in the movie eventually, because you said something to me that moved me forward.
Yeah, I remember. Isn't this great?
Yeah, it made me take an action that led to me being in the movie. So the ripples, we're all so connected. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So, Solveig, how did being a part of Entangled No More and your solo book journey impact your growth before this, before Zero Limits?
Oh, it impacted me great, so in big ways, I would say, because always when you write something in a book, you have to get clear on your past. And it's like looking back and taking the essence out of what happened. And this is you say therapeutic in its own way.
Therapeutic. Yeah, it is.
Therapeutic. So
Definitely. It is
yeah,
a healing journey, isn't it?
yeah, only this, and then become visible with my own message. This is so big, and people give you a resonance on it. So it fuels up the inner growth journey a lot. And I'm so grateful for having been able to be part of Entangled No More and make my solo book journey with you. Thank you so much at this point again.
No, thank you. But you're so welcome. I think it's part of that journey as well of putting yourself out there and being brave and bold and courageous. And the more that you do that, the bigger things that you feel comfortable diving into, like a movie.
Yeah, and it's often like you claim the thing first. Like it was the same with the books. I write a book and it's published, and then there's an inner growth that something comes after that
Mm.
makes you grow even more. So it's like you claim it first, and then you have to adapt to it, to the big
Mm.
thing you claimed before. It
And
was
then the other doors open up, don't they? That
Mhm.
just wouldn't have been there had you not taken those earlier steps.
Yes.
So, Solveig, can you share how the Conscious Reading Academy connects Ho'oponopono and energy work?
Yeah, I will explain a bit about the Conscious Reading Academy first because I'm a field reading expert. So we are reading in the morphogenetic field, and this is the place where every energy is stored, or every version of us is stored. And it's mostly about getting clairvoyance going and practicing this. But it's different modules in this academy. It's an annual program, and one of the modules is only about Ho'oponopono and trigger work. And we are actually right now in this module. I'm actually working with my students on this. And it's so fantastic to see because it's not necessary, but you can observe the shifts happening in the field while somebody is saying the mantra. And we are doing it in pairs, and it's pairs that work with each other. And one is saying the mantra, and the other one is in the field and observing the shifts and naming the shift and only to observe what happens in the field, how the energy shifts, how the situation changes, is so magical. So everybody is really enthusiastic about Ho'oponopono now, and you can apply it in every moment of your life,
Mm.
but sitting down consciously doing it in a field reading is so much more magical because you really believe in the changes because you can see them, you can feel them with your own eyes and your own system. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've slowed down enough to pay attention as well, haven't you? Whereas you might, if you were just doing it in general, you probably just shift on to the next thing that you're doing. But because you're taking
Yeah,
that
you
specific
can
time
name the
out,
changes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm.
So, what shifts have you personally witnessed when practicing Ho'oponopono in the field?
Well, I have to admit, I have to confess something because when we made the movie and I was there on the filming day, I did not know that it's about Ho'oponopono. And I knew that Joe Vitale stands for Ho'oponopono and everything, but I didn't know that the movie was about it. And only after my life spiraled down afterwards, I have to admit. And I was in a real big crisis. And in the middle of this crisis, I was at a friend's house, and in the bookshelf, I saw the Zero Limits book of Joe Vitale. And I took it out and said, oh my God, the movie is about this. So I told it Joe Vitale too, so I confessed everywhere. But it was so magical because in this moment I decided now is the right moment to start really working with it. I knew it before and I applied it before, but this moment was consciously going into Ho'oponopono and applying it on my life. And I have to say, like this down spiral, it got an up spiral again. So there's so much that happened afterwards. It gave me so much inner peace and strength to confront all the situations I had to confront
Mm.
in this crisis. And now, since then, I'm applying it all the time and mostly in moments where I'm helpless. It helps me so much to to delegate it, to give it away, to let go to a higher power. And it helped me so much coming out of this crisis and gaining strength and gaining this inner peace. So it's a huge effect on my life.
That's a beautiful share. Thank you. I totally relate to that because I have times when there are like what feels like downward spirals when multiple things are occurring at once that you actually don't want to happen. But there is always a lesson in that, isn't there? And there's always something on the other side of it. And having these tools to help you through the process rather than letting that personally take you down even more,
Yeah.
it's golden. It's life changing, isn't it? You just see those things that you labeled bad in a totally different way.
Mm-hmm. It's only the first sentence I always use is like, I love you. So everything.
Yeah, I think that is enough, isn't it?
Only, yeah, it's acceptance of what is.
Yeah.
And I reject to name it bad. I reject to believe in that it has a bad effect on my life. There will be a lesson. Maybe I can't see it yet. There will be a gift in it. And by saying I love you, I already label it in a whole different frame. That helps me so much already. Mm.
Absolutely. And I was talking to Dr. Joe a couple of nights ago about the fact that I've got health disabilities and that I actually flipped how I thought about them, that they're gifts, that they've been a gift to me because I've slowed down enough to create a podcast, to create these books, to do the things that we're doing now. And if this hadn't have happened to me, I would still be sitting in a job that I hated. So it's all quite life changing.
Yeah, it's amazing what you've accomplished in your life, and that's proof enough that there are no limits.
Yeah. Why do you believe that everyone is naturally clairvoyant, Solveig?
I believe it because I have the evidence every day in my academy. There are many people coming very skeptical. They're open to the concept of clairvoyance and they want to practice it. They long for it. And actually, every time in the first hour, they get their first messages from the field. So, because it's just a reactivation, it's just taking all the mysticism out of the topic. Many go around with like, only if I don't drink coffee anymore, I can do it. I have to cleanse all my chakras first. I have to do whatever practice first before I can. And I said, no, you can do it as natural as breathing. And I get the evidence every time. And then it's a lot about just training, just doing it and gaining experience. So, and I'm convinced that everybody can do it as a birthright. It's a part of our body technology we have.
And your academy is empowering people to realize that and to be open to that, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who doubts their own intuitive or spiritual abilities?
I would say, well, you're still living, and we would go through some decisions in their lives, and they would realize that it's, even if they think they base their decision mainly on reasoning, everybody has to realize it's not the only thing your decisions are based on. Most of the decisions are based on feeling. Many say I have a good gut feeling, and that's already a sign. So, and the fact that you're still living and talking to me is that you did the right decisions and you did them on based on your intuition. And I would say in a more on a higher percentage than you yourself believe in. So if you reflect on your decisions in your life, you will come to the conclusion it was not always because you didn't have all the information. You could not have it at that point. So some decisions you have to take from your intuition, from your feeling about it.
Then I totally believe in that because, I follow my intuition all the time now. I rarely tap into logic anymore because it's so obvious to me now where things lead when you follow the intuitive guidance. So how has your own connection to inner wisdom evolved through this journey?
I would say I got the biggest part is that in the most recent times I got more slowly I'm not pressing in my life anymore as much as I did before. I realized also before I had my crisis, I was very successful, but it was like jumping after the next adrenaline shot
Yeah.
in life. I fell in love again with my everyday life, I would say. And I'm really focusing on my everyday life, on the normals in my life. What before I said like, nah, that's not enough. I want what is the next? What is next? More, more, more. So I really slowed down in this aspect, and I'm beginning to enjoy life much more. And I'm literally observing how I lay the foundation for bigger things to come, and I get proof every day. It's like really upward development. And I would say my inner wisdom is mostly, I have a good connection to my inner wisdom. The slowlier I go in life, the more conscious I'm about the present moment. I would say that's the biggest shift I had in recent times.
And that's so important, isn't it? Because the magic I notice literally does come in when you really slow down, when you take care of yourself, and when you are present in your everyday life. Because a lot of people can use spirituality as well to escape from their everyday life
Yes.
and not realize that, the inner work is actually the work in your real everyday life, not just what you're doing in practice in a meditation or on a yoga mat. Those things are helpful, but at the end of the day, we want them to support us in day to day life when these things come up that are difficult to deal with, don't we? So, yeah, it's all.
Yeah, if you can't fall in love with your everyday life, how can you fall in love with the bigger things to come? And this is an experience everybody has, that there is big things coming, but we have joy like maybe for a day, and then the next day it's already what's next. So and to have this fulfillment in every moment, you have to start in your everyday life. There's no other way. There's no other place to start from.
No, tune into appreciating how far you've come and the miracles in the tiny things, because then when you appreciating those miracles, then you do expand and bigger miracles come in just naturally, don't they?
Mhm.
One of the series questions that I'm asking is, what does zero limits life mean to you personally?
I already said as much as I think it's a big misconception about zero limits, that it's this bigger, better, even bigger, even bigger. And like I said, it's for me, zero limits, it starts within. It's mostly zero limits in my way of thinking, expanding my inner horizons, and like, yeah, falling in love with this life again, the present moment. Also falling in love with the suffering you may have, falling in love with everything that's in your life right now, because it unfolds perfectly, actually, if we accept it as it is. And this is where zero limits starts, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's all coming naturally as soon as you start within yourself. And also, I would say zero limits for me means also to stand up again and again and again. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't don't stagnate. To just challenge yourself in your personal growth. And I mean, there's always a comfort zone you can go out of. There's always a new chapter in your life, a new adventure. And I think if you just go on with this, you actually already living zero limit.
And if you want to see more of those of us that are in the movie and living a zero limits life, come into the Facebook group, the Zero Limits community, that had its open day launch yesterday, and Solveig was a speaker on that. So yeah, come and join us on the journey between now and the film premiere launch, at the multiple premieres that are launching, and the actual movie itself when it goes out on Amazon Prime. Solveig, is there anything else you'd like to share that we haven't spoken about?
Oh my God, it's just saying thank you for this huge opportunity to be on your podcast again. I am admiring your work and how far you've come with this podcast alone. It's so inspiring. It's inspiring a lot of people, and I hope this little conversation could inspire the listeners, and so they can inspire others. And that's the ripple effect we wanna want to create. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, Solveig. And where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on consciousreading.com. Conscious Reading is my brand and the academy, and you can find us in the Zero Limits community.
Absolutely.
Yes, on Facebook with my name, so very easy to find.
Thank you for your time today, Solveig.
Thank you, Katie.
Bye for now.
Bye.
So ask yourself, is this for me? Give yourself some boundaries. Learn to trust your intuition now.
I'm Lalita Donatella Ribeck, and I am a best-selling author. And I've also been featured in an award-winning movie with Dr. Joe Vitale, and I owe it all to Katie Carey. Yes, I do expect miracles every day. Yes, I am a very spiritual person who has had a process of transformation that lasted over 30 years, if not my entire life, because I'm very spiritual. But Katie has been instrumental for me to be able to find a like-minded, talented, incredibly positive and spiritual person who supported all my goals. As a writer, yes, I already had a successful book on spiritual awakening from a yogic standpoint. And with Katie, I was able to conceive, thanks to her encouragement and her support, and also we are like-minded, as I said. And 2 of my books became #1 bestsellers, Amazon bestsellers in the US. So both #1. Also in other countries, for example, Australia, also in Europe, they did very well. So now they're in the process of being translated in Italian. And Katie was always with helping me, giving me great ideas all the way. And even one of her meditations was very important for me to tap into my past lives as a spiritual person, etc. You'll find out in my books. The latest book, which she published in her publishing company called Soulful Valley, which is the same name of her amazing podcast, which is in the top 1% in the world globally. And so she was the amazing help and support that I needed. So this book, Golden Age Goddesses, again was Amazon #1 in the US in 2025, so it's very recent. And anybody who wants to have and experience the next level success as an author, as a coach, he or she can find that amazing support with Katie Carey. So she's one of my favorite people. I recommend her, and thanks to her, I also was able to meet Dr. Joe Vitale and be featured in his movie. So she's the best. See you soon.